Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. Time for another Metal Earth build, actually another Iconics build. I have a more than I expected complicated Iconics dragon. Very excited to build and have a dragon that looks really cool. I did not realize it was 3 sheets and more than 125 pieces, but I'm not going to let that stop me. Let's open it up, see what's inside, and put it together. The Silver Dragon. Do we have tape? The tape is on the side. If I can carefully open these up. Put that back in its thing. And let's drag things out. My. Sheets. Instructions, more instructions, and tweezers. I really like these tweezers. I'm going to put those to the side though. And my, quite a lot of instructions. This may take some time. 3 sheets it says. And they're taped down. Okay. Not a problem. There we go. Carefully untape them. 1, 2, and 3. Nice. Nice. I wonder just how big this is going to be in the end. Maybe not huge, but certainly not small. I'm going to put these, I'm just going to put these back for now. Let's drag the sheets of paper back out here. See if we can't find, oh my, there's 4 sheets. Oh my. Well, let's start with the one that has the sheets on it. Open it up. And I've got it upside down. Flatten it out. And here we go. Iconics 3 metal model kit. We have the Silver Dragon. A little bit about the 360 view so you can look at it online. There's a QR code for you to take with your camera. We have the usual blue circle and green triangle. When you see the blue circle in the directions, it's telling you to fold the part over. When you see the green triangle, it's telling you to twist, pull and twist apart to secure it. This talks about, those pliers being helpful for assembly, and this shows you the slots, fold lines, and tabs. When they refer to those, the fold lines is where you fold that, slots and tabs go together, slots go in tabs. Then we have the legend part down here where if you see an E pointing to something, it's pointing at the engraved side. The NE points at the non-engraved side, and from experience, what they consider engraved and non-engraved are not always what I consider engraved and non-engraved. And then you have an intention point, just trying to get your attention to a certain thing, whether it needs to be lined up this way, this slot needs to go in this, or this tab needs to go in this slot. It varies. Sometimes there'll be an explanation as to what you're paying attention to, but it's something important. And then we have down here one of the layouts of the sheets. And just because the amount of them and how big they are, if you've gotten to the point of doing Iconics, you probably know how this works. These point to the different parts on the sheet so that you can find them and know which part you're supposed to be working with. We have some items that are colored in, ones that are the same color or the same part number and used in more than one place. I pushed that the wrong way. That way they just the number 1, like here's 33, this is also 33, but they didn't number it because it's the same part and it makes it less crowded. And that's 1 sheet. Over here you've got 2 more sheets, the layouts of them. Same story, you've got some parts that are colored the same, those are duplicate parts, they're all numbered. And it also, I see you have numbers in black, numbers in red, and some in blue, so that may be of some importance. So I've done one model where it had duplicate numbers, some were red, some were black, and they're for different things. I think it was the other dragon, I think it was the Harry Potter dragon. But we'll see what that's like. It's probably the case. Sometimes there'll be, see, we have red 1 and 2, we have a black 1 and 2. We have a black 3. Yeah, we have a black 2 and a black 1. So they're, instead of numbering up a huge amount of parts, they're splitting them into different colors. And the assembly flow chart just barely starts down here at the bottom of page 2, starting with part 1. It's pointing at the engraved side. Fold that around, fold these out, fold the tab, connecting tab. Okay, fold that connecting tab. You've got that. And then part 1, black part 1. So you have red part 1 and black part 1. This is pointing at the engraved side, how you connect, and just follow the arrows, looking carefully at the notations, the engraved side, non-engraved side, if it's red or black, or possibly blue. Flip over to page 3, and you just continue on, following the arrows and carefully following the directions. You really have to pay attention to these. Oftentimes you can get things backwards or mixed up. And then on to page 4. Once we're done with that, I'm assuming that one of these has a page 5. That's, this might be it. C6. Yes. We have page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8, and then on to another sheet where there's page 9, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and you're finally done. Let's talk tools. I have a pretty standard set of tools that I use in most every build. I have needle nose pliers, I have flat nose pliers, I have flush clippers. These are a must for me. They clip parts off the sheets quickly and cleanly. I have a set of precision tweezers, one with a very pointed end, one with the pointed end ground down slightly, and flat set with a sort of curved tip, useful for twisting tabs in slightly curved areas. I also have a pretty standard set of tweezers with a flat angled end. These come in one of the Iconics kits, and I use them a lot. When it comes to shaping rounded parts, there are many options. I used dowel rods for a long time. I sharpened the ends of 2 of them with a pencil sharpener. These 2 are great for making cone shapes. Another option is a cheap drill bit set. The set has quite a few different sizes to choose from. Another option is a set of step mandrels. Another option for rounding parts, especially larger parts, is sockets. Maybe you have some sitting around already, maybe you know someone that will loan you a few, or maybe just pick up a really cheap set. Marbles and beads are handy for shaping domes. You can get a mixed assortment of beads from a local craft store. Ring pliers or round nose pliers can be found with jewelry making tools and work wonderfully for curving delicate and or hard to get to areas. These Kelly clamps or hemostats, I've heard them called several names, can be used to hold on to small parts while guiding them into place. They lock, so they won't let go. I do not use them much because they have teeth and you can scratch the part, but sometimes my hands are just too small. I've recently started using a sculpting set. I got this pretty cheap on Amazon. It's a whole set, just a lot of different shapes and sizes, some with angles, some with points, some with flat sides. It's good for pushing over tabs, reaching inside and pushing on the inside, helping to shape small areas you're just too tight to get into. And we have a couple of hook shapes down here to replace the hook tools that I used to use. We've very quickly looked at the instructions in the sheets, and I've gone over some tools to get us started. Let's get putting this together. All of the spikes for this model bend a little more than right angle. The sides bend inward a little. You can see I made a mistake right there when I bent over the tabs. I actually bent the end of the piece as well. It would have been better to have some sort of support inside the circle to help prevent that from happening. I should not have closed the numbered end pieces. First, I forgot to add the spike, and second, the pieces connect together before closing that part. I folded many of these tabs inward, but on some of the smaller pieces I had trouble bending out the flaps from the center because the tab was folded over part of it. I pinched and bent inward the tabs holding many of the spikes on. The first few parts were pretty straightforward, but they started to become angled, which made curving them more complicated. Luckily, I was able to reach the tabs on the ones that I closed and didn't have to open them back up. In keeping with the cleaner folded tab look, I was pushing tabs inward instead of twisting them, at least at first.
eyebrow has to be pushed out a little for the middle tab, plus it adds to the look. If you have watched enough of my videos, you have seen me lightly twist tabs that should be folded in areas where there was not much support and the part could easily fall off. I will come back later when more of it is together and untwist, then bend over those tabs. The instructions would have you complete A and B and close them before adding parts 9, but I decided to add parts 9 before closing A and B. I was thinking I would be able to get a better grab on the tabs to twist them. Now that I see this video, I may have put this part on oriented the wrong way. There were some tabs on the inner parts of the wing that I missed folding down. At this junction, I abandoned trying to push the tabs in and bend them outwards. This thing was getting to be a handful. We've reached the end of part 1. Because of the length of this video and the length of this build, I've decided to split it into 2 parts. Part 2 is coming if it's not out already. If you'd like to see it, just click on this link. Okay.